I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What do you mean, calm it down? It's a fight. Referees telling two fighters who want to fight to calm it down. He should calm down.
So he's like a clown in his show, man. He's not your guy.
Because Tyson Fury's back, and all you motherfuckers are under attack. Look, Eddie Hearn can say all what he likes. Who gives a shit what Eddie Hearn says? It's garbage.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
Can you let me retire and be happy? Please, just please.
Bombs away from the Bronx Bomber!
Water! Let's go, baby! Let's go!
I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You ain't shit. You not shit.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
I got dropped, man. Are you kidding? No, you won the fight.
OMG, I am so excited.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up, MCR family? It's a little immediate reaction post-fight show for J-Rock Julian Williams losing in massive upset fashion to Jason Rosario on PBC on Fox. Wow. I mean, let's be honest here, guys. I thought I was going to come in here. I wasn't going to do a immediate reaction post-fight show just for Williams Rosario. I was going to combine it with the UFC card. But luckily for you, only hardcore boxing fans, I decided because of that amazing knockout and finish by Jason Rosario, I have to do its own show. It needs its own show and platform in order to talk about it. And I thought maybe I was going to come in here and talk a lot about, or to tonight's show after the UFC card, talking about maybe Chris Colbert and how he really struggled against Jezreel Corrales and what that means. But no, we started this year with one of the biggest upsets in boxing that I can think of in the last, year or so. I'll be honest, that if this was in December, this would be upset of the year, right, of 2019. This would beat Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua, without a doubt. But no, it's January, was it 11th or whatever it is. Oh my God, I just can't believe it. And there's so much to get to in this. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Shout out to people in the chat, Pat in Beantown, The Zombie, Tavon, Andre, Diakonu, everyone. I hope everyone's having a great night, great evening, watching the fights. Hope everyone's staying safe out there. But let's get to what happened here. Why did Williams lose in such shocking upset fashion? For a litany of reasons, obviously. It's a multi-factored issue here. One, Rosario's really improved since the Nathan Gallimore fight. He talked about this is his first fight ever having a actual training camp for a fight. That's just shocking. It doesn't really describe how shocking that is for a guy that obviously big and talented and gifted with that heavy of a shot. And clearly massive improvements, leaps and bounds of improvement from fight to fight for Jason Rosario. You can't calculate that, really, in the pre-fight and the build-up. There's no way to really suspect that Rosario was all of a sudden going to become a devastating, aggressive swarmer. Like, no one could have predicted that watching the Gallimore fight. His only fight of note. No one could have saw that. He was a pretty ineffective boxer puncher in that fight. This fight, oh no. No, he made Jared Hurd look like fucking mincemeat. No, he said, hold my beer, Jared Hurd. I'm the real pressure fighter in this division. And that was really impressive. Again, there's no way to calculate that going into it. I don't think J-Rock and Breadman calculated that going into it. There's no way they could have calculated the way he would put combinations together, how accurate Jason Rosario's combinations were. He was throwing 3s and 4s, and all the punches were landing. You would throw a 1-2, all jab, right hand, left hook to the body, right hook to the body, and all 4 shots would land. And then instantaneously, that cut that was on the eye for the Jared Hurd fight for J-Rock instantly opened up via jab. That really affected Williams in this fight. He instantly started getting hit with right hands more and more as that cut became more of an issue, and that became an issue in the first round. So that's another layer of why this fight looked the way it did. Obviously, size, power. I mean, if Rosario was significant in this fight, I don't think anyone expected him to be that big, have that heavy of a shot against Williams, but he did. Also, not to discredit Rosario's performance here, because he was truly amazing. I don't want to do that, but it has to be stated the layoff of Julian Williams has to be an issue here. You know, he is pretty active coming off the Charlo fight, went into the Jarrett Hurd fight, and had his career best performance. The lateral movement of him in that fight was just crisp and on point. Had a massive layoff. Came in this fight probably a little bit underwhelmed in camp. I think a little bit, even though he doesn't say it. I mean, how could you not? We were all writing off Jason Rosario. I was. You know, shots at me, guys. I mean, we talk about it all the time on this show. And, you know, again, the criticism we usually have on the show should be directed at me in this occasion. I wrote off Jason Rosario after that loss to Nathaniel Gallimore. I should not have done that. Shame on me, because holy shit, he improved. And I don't think anyone, including Julian Williams and Breadman, expected that. No one could have. You look at all of his fights, you don't see this version of Jason Rosario in those fights. It's a totally different fighter. Just unbelievable. I mean, there's really no other way to describe how amazing and shocking this upset is in the junior middleweight division. You know, we really had some hierarchy at the top. Now it's just blown away completely. You know, Charlo, I think, is hanging on into that top 3 position for dear life. But the guys we talked about in the top 3, Jarrett Hurd, Charlo, and probably Laura just a year and a half ago. I mean, now we're talking about Jason Rosario, Patrick Teixeira. We're talking about even Tony Harrison to a degree, even though he lost to Charlo. I mean, I think he looked fantastic. Brian Castano, right? Like, we're talking about a lot more people at the top of this division that has a lot more parity to it that no one foresaw a year and a half ago. We all saw Hurd and Charlo marching towards a unification fight. That was a big fight for the division. And then all these other nobodies, for lack of a better term, came in and upset the apple carts. Shout out to them, air horns, to all the people I just mentioned that did that. It definitely added a lot of excitement to this division. Now, maybe it hurt its brand potential for the casuals, but who gives a shit? It's junior middleweight. Junior middleweight has never really been a casual fans division. This has always been a division for us hardcores, and this division is extremely hardcore, and even in its depth, because it's a very deep division, it's hardcore throughout. It's a hipster division, and I gotta love it. I mean, 154 is definitely being, I would say, all of a sudden now a top 5 division in the sport. You can make that argument without a doubt. Quickly, Fernando V saying, damn, J-Rock got KO'd. Yes, he did. Now, it may be a little bit of an early stoppage, but I don't think really most people would argue that. I mean, even J-Rock, man, he looked like he was done. He was out on his feet, to be honest. Bananarama, Rosario's a serious problem. Hurd doesn't want that smoke. I mean, maybe. I mean, that was, when we talked about Hurd a year and a half ago, this was a Hurd-like performance that we saw against, like, Laura. But even better, because he got him out in the 5th fucking round. And it was truly amazing. Who else? Heath Farley. I'm trying to keep up with all these simultaneous streams. Yeah, it's a lot going on. We have UFC 246 right now. We have Edler Alvarez versus Michael Seals about to go down on ESPN. A lot. Plus, obviously, this show right now to watch. A lot to pay attention to in combat sports tonight. What else we have? Tony Yayo. Tony Yayo, a.k.a. The Real Talk with New York, should have been featured on M album. Oh, that M album was just decent. No one wants to have that conversation, but digressing. Yayo saying, I switched off Fox after Cobra fight and missed an upset. Yeah, you did. And honestly, even like taking away the upset, a really fun fight. Like one of those that had me going, oh. Like it was just truly a fun fight, I'll be honest. Yayo also asking, Patrick Teixeira any good? I would say so. He's definitely a top 7 guy in the division, and that's a really good thing to be. Heath Farley, shout out to Heath, man. Great supporter. I missed the first 3 rounds, so I have to go back in a bit. Yes, go back and watch the first 3 rounds. Because even those 3 rounds were fun. I think it was like the second or third round, it was that shift, and Rosario really started taking over. It was bad. It was bad. No. We're not talking about Rosado. We're talking about Rosario 92. Yo. Dang, what the fuck? Who is Rosario? Talking about King Gabe? Oh, that's good, guys. That was great. Oh, man. Let me know in the chat, guys, if you want me to stay on for the Alvarez Seals fight and do like a little mini live chat, or do you want me to like head off and maybe come back for a post-fight show for that one, or obviously just wrap it up with the UFC card later. Let me know in the chat. Juan David Hernandez saying Cobra is the next Broner. I disagree with that entirely. And let's get to it. First off, Chris Colbert picked up a win against Jezreel Corrales that was tough. Let's be honest. Why was it tough? For a variety of reasons. First off, Jezreel Corrales made it a priority to negate any action in this fight. The amount of holding and tie-ups in this fight was egregious, even for me, and I usually don't care about it. But it was an issue, and I'm shocked a point was not deducted in this fight. Let's be honest here. Like, I am absolutely floored that no point was deducted at all for the holding in this fight. Atrocious refereeing here by Sean Clark. Bad. So bad. Also, I will say this. Chris Colbert's a guy that at 13-0, heading into this fight, now 14-0, is rapidly improving at 23 years old. You know, we saw him, I would say, even a few fights ago, being a guy that didn't have a lot of pop, a guy that's predominantly a defensive boxer. Let's say, even like Shakur Stevenson, like that sort of comparison as a prospect coming up, where we know Shakur's not going to be knocking out people, but he's going to be negating them so efficiently, and he's such a defensive wizard, it doesn't matter. He's outboxing them. Chris Colbert's adding wrinkles to his game. The fact that he knocked down and was the pressure fighter against Jezreel Corrales and was the heavier hitter in this fight against Jezreel Corrales was shocking. And that's not a knock on Jezreel Corrales. I think that's a sign that Chris Colbert is rapidly improving. He just fought a guy that is really unorthodox in Jezreel Corrales, that if you look at a lot of his other fights, Juan David Hernandez, he is a guy that makes fights look weird and odd and kind of ugly. He is that guy. The fact that he defeated future Hall of Famer Yukiyama twice is just shocking. But hell, he did that, right? This was one of the best wins, if not the best win of any prospect right now in the sport. Like, mention a prospect: Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Virgil Ortiz. Mention all of them. Jezreel Corrales is a former champion who has a win against a potential future Hall of Famer. That is bigger than Joet Gonzalez. That is bigger than Alejandro Santiago. It's bigger than even Richard Comey for Teofimo Lopez, to be honest. Like, this is a massive win. It's why Ladarius Miller is such a high-ranked prospect, in my opinion, because he had a really good win against Jezreel Corrales. Though a lot of people thought that Jezreel Corrales arguably won that fight. It was a fight that was ugly. It had a lot of visual comparisons to, I would say, this fight. And Coper I thought, handled it a lot better. A lot better. Sean Newton saying Teofimo Lopez win is better. The way he won is better. Is the name better? Because Richard Comey is known for losing to people. Robert Easter, Denis Shafikov, etc. His best win is Ray Beltran, which he kind of looked bad in, to be honest. While Jezreel Corrales defeated Yukiyama twice. I don't know. I mean, the way the win was for Teofimo Lopez is obviously more of a breakout moment, but the name, no. Jezreel Corrales is a better win, name on the record, than Richard Comey. Sorry. Like, I rate champions that beat actual champions instead of people that win vacant belts. And I've been very consistent on that. Now back to Chris Colbert and what's next for him. I think the way he looked in this fight made me think that he could fight anybody at 130 at the top. Miguel Pichello, Leo Santa Cruz, Tevin Farmer. I mean, name a name. Oscar Valdez, Carl Frampton. Like, name any of them. Like, match him up. Like, why not? He's 23, probably going to be 24 when that fight happens. 14-0 now. If he loses, who cares? Who cares? He's obviously talented enough to probably not look bad when he loses. On top of it, he's still improving so much at 23 years old, and it's evident he's improving from fight to fight, that if he loses, he'll end up like Erickson Lubin to a degree. Though, I mean, again, Lubin had no win heading towards the Charlo fight, while he just beat Corrales, speaking of Colbert. But that, sort of bounce back. Fighters can bounce back very well. I think Colbert, even if he loses to Leo Santa Cruz or Tevin Farmer or Miguel Pichello, which wouldn't be a knock, to be honest. Those are great champions right now. He could easily bounce back. And I think he's going to be a perennial top 5 guy at 130, 135. I see him sort of being like a lifetime lightweight eventually. But yeah, I thought he looked really good, especially as the fight wore on and the ref really started being a little more critical and warning Corrales due to the holding. Again, never taking a point, but that allowed, I think, the fight to have a little more action and Corrales to stop holding as much. And you could tell that Colbert, when the fight was really happening and Corrales wasn't looking to tie up, Colbert was getting the better of it significantly. And again, the power of Colbert in this fight was shocking. That's somebody that's growing up and maturing as an athlete in Chris Colbert. So the sky's the limit for this guy, to be honest. He is so extremely talented. And I'll be honest, I think he could beat guys like, you guys know me. He beats Oscar Valdez. He beats Carl Frampton, in my opinion. He beats Tevin Farmer, in my opinion, though that's a really fun competitive fight. But Berchelt and Leo Santa Cruz, stylistically, those are very tough fights for him. He probably loses to those if I have to, gun to my head and make a pick here. But I want to see that fight. If God forbid we don't get the Gervonta Davis Leo Santa Cruz pay-per-view. Leo Santa Cruz, Chris Colbert for a Fox main event. Tell me you would not want to see that. Tell me that's not a fight that intrigues you. And he is one of those PBC names that you kind of think he's not a huge priority. They might send him to Top Rank in ESPN against Miguel Pichello. They might, just to have another sort of belt and to sort of monopolize the division in a way, to keep Leo at 130, go fight Pichello, win that belt, you sort of, take a corner of the market, so to speak. I thought he did really well. I just thought the fight was ugly due to Corrales more than anything, to be quite honest. Moving on, a couple other undercard fighters I'm going to talk about, and then I will probably head out of here and start watching the Alvarez-Steels fight, which already started on ESPN, plus get back to the UFC 246 card, and I'll probably just wrap up both of those cards on the reaction post-fight show later tonight at around 10 p.m. most likely. But Jorge Cota picked up a really fun win against Thomas Lamana, though I'll be honest, Jorge Cota doesn't belong anywhere near the top 15. The fact that he fought Charlo was a little bit sad because he's not an athlete at all. Fun fighter, probably a good card filler, but not anywhere near the top 15 for being completely honest here. Also, Joey Spencer picked up a win against Eric Spring, and oh my God, he did not look good here. And I'm going to say a hot take here, guys. I don't think it's a hot take, but I think some people think it's a hot take. So that's why I'm saying it's a hot take, giving the trigger warning. Ryan Garcia has a higher ceiling, exponentially so, than Joey fucking Spencer. Just saying it. Just saying it.
I want smoke.
Just saying it. If you want smoke in the chat, let me know. Joey Spencer's a guy that hasn't improved. And that is my number one thing I'm looking at prospects. It's not about, do I think you're going to be the next superstar, the next Floyd Mayweather, the next Pacquiao, the next Roy Jones Jr. I don't really care about that discussion. I care about, are you improving? Have you hit your ceiling? And Joey Spencer, at what, like 19 years old, it seems? Holy shit, has not improved at all since his pro debut. I don't know what the issue is. Cardio wasn't there. Game plan wasn't there. He had no volume, no sense of what to do in the ring. And he kind of got lucky just because he was a better fighter than the guy he was facing, obviously. But, wow, I don't know what he was doing in there. Like, that was really bad. I have no real thoughts about Joey Spencer anymore going forward, to be quite honest, guys. I think he is largely a hype job by the network / PBC at this point. Just because, like, other prospects, I see improvement. I see things that make me go, oh, they're going to be a top 20 guy. They're going to be a top 15 guy. They're going to be a top 10 guy. They're going to be a top 5 guy. They're going to be a champion. You know, those are usually what I'm looking for. And to make me see that you are going that way is by improving. You know, that's why I don't think much of Michael Conlon, because he hasn't improved at all in any fight ever. Right? Like, since his pro debut to now, he is the same exact fighter. From the Rio Olympics to now, he is the same exact fighter. So, like, you've hit your ceiling already. And you haven't even hit the top 20 ranked guys yet. Major concern here. And yes, he's 19, so there's plenty of time to improve, but he isn't. And that's my point. So until he starts improving, it's hard to really gauge what Joey Spencer is, other than a guy that gets a lot of push by his, company, so to speak. Let's be honest. Tony Ayo saying Spencer should have suppressed the issue. Yeah, he should have. I thought he could have easily got the guy out if he just started throwing combinations together. Let's be honest. The Jump Team saying they need to give Spencer the Ryan Garcia treatment. They are. They are. What are you talking about? Like, he's fighting worse competition, for fuck's sake, than Ryan Garcia. Way worse competition than Ryan Garcia. Yeah, he's getting that treatment, if not more. 92 Aku saying he's just a prospect. Just a prospect. It's okay. It's okay that Joey Spencer throws less than 10 punches around against the guys that we've never seen before. It's okay that, he just doesn't get knockouts. It's okay that he gets married with a cowboy hat. Not disrespecting him for wearing cowboy hats, just saying. A little bit corny. I mean, like, come on, man. Like, Joey Spencer's... He's not relevant right now. There's a lot of other prospects that are making themselves far more relevant. And he's just not. Let's just be honest about it. Also, Vito Milanicki Jr., also another guy that I'm not really hyped on. I think is getting a lot of hype. I don't see anything in him. Romel Cruz, though. Yeah, that's 3-0-1. Never seen before, but he picked up a really fun TKO win against Julio Garcia, who was 3-3. That's about it for the PBC on Fox card, guys. That's going to be it for this reaction post-fight show, but I'll be back, obviously, after UFC 246 and after this Alvarez Seals main event, which is in round 3, and I have not seen any of it. Also, why is it saying round 3 of 11? Am I the only one getting that graphic on my ESPN screen? This isn't an 11-round fight, is it? That's not even a thing. Please tell me that's ESPN fucking up. Hold on. Please tell me it's a 10-round fight, too. Not even a 12-rounder. Yeah, it's a 10-rounder. Ha! Hilarious. Well, guys, that's going to be it for this show. Hit the like button, share the show, all that fun stuff. Subscribe. What else can you do? Find me, Matt Hunter, MCR, on all social media platforms. And shout out to everyone in the chat. 92 Aku, Jump Tube, MC Treasure, Tony Yayo, Heath Farley, LDTB. Who else was here? Dario, Sean Newton, Bananarama. Shout out to the Banana beating J-Rock in upset fashion. Oh, man. Adrian, Ron David Hernandez. Who else? Steve Tilston, Andre Diakonu, Tavion, Zombie, Pat and Beantown. Hope everyone's having a fantastic night, day, evening, and be back in just like an hour and a half, guys. It won't be that long. Peace.